Ruby Franke's two severely abused kids, who authorities say barely survived inside Jodi Hildebrandt's southern Utah home, are speaking out. Eve and Russell Franke are pleading with Utah lawmakers to reconsider now a bill they say could have saved them from months of abuse.
It did fail in the House this week. Ariel Harrison has been in close contact with the Franke family about this, and she's joining us live from the Capitol tonight. Ariel.
It is the final day of Utah's legislative session, but this fight for the Franke family is far from over. The bill is SB 124. It's been called Gavin's bill. And Eve, Russell, and their father, Gavin Franke, are speaking out tonight because Gavin Peterson is no longer here to do so.
Nobody values parental rights more than me.
Gavin Franke says he and his kids were devastated to learn House Republicans voted down SB 124 Wednesday.
Having received 30 yea votes and 43 nay votes, fails to pass the House.
Coined as Gavin's bill, it would create a court-issued investigative warrant when kids disappear from society, like Gavin and the Franke kids did.
I do not believe that this would necessarily solve the problem in some of the cases that have been referenced.
That statement is ignorant at best. And we know full well that my kids could have easily been rescued months before the move down to southern Utah.
Russell Franke is the boy who escaped for help. Both children issued emotional statements to 2 News about Gavin's bill failing. Russell saying, "I find it shocking that legislators would find it better for kids in an abusive situation to have to fend for themselves and try to escape. This is exactly what I had to do." Eve saying, "I remember that for months police officers and DCFS knocked on our door, but they were never able to come in." Arguments against the bill say it's government overreach on parental rights and it would lead to unjust removals. But Kevin says the current system leaves a massive gap between DCFS and authorities knocking on a door and breaking one down, arguing there is no middle ground.
If there's a parent who's committing child abuse, what do you think? They're going to just open the door to the police and say, "Oh yeah, come right on in, let's have a conversation"? Of course they're not going to do that.
Among those who voted against the measure are lawmakers from districts of the Franke and Peterson cases, like Speaker of the House Mike Schultz. 2 News asked Schultz today why he voted against Gavin's bill.
That was not the solution. That bill wouldn't have helped Gavin or helped the Peterson kid. DCFS failed their job, period. They wouldn't have done anything different with this new bill. They didn't. There was a pathway for DCFS already to go in and save that kid, and they didn't do it.
In your daughter Eve's statement, she says, "If my brother hadn't been brave and left that home and went for help, that could have been us." How does that make you feel when you hear that?
Emotional and grateful for the courage of my son, and white hot angry that it had to fall on the shoulders of a weak and an emaciated 12-year-old boy to save himself and his sister, because our system, not DCFS, not law enforcement, our laws, our legislature failed them.
Now, Schultz and other lawmakers who voted the bill down pointed to recent findings from a legislative audit on DCFS. They say it shows the agency failed to meet its very own standards. Sherry Franke is Gavin Franke's oldest daughter. She disagrees adamantly with this, just like her father. She issued a statement to us about this, saying Utah's laws failed her siblings, saying, quote, "I called the police a year before my mother's arrest. I called DCFS. The police did all the right things. DCFS did the right things. But because I had no physical evidence, despite knowledge of Jodi and Ruby's personalities and past, my siblings could not be saved before permanent damage had been done. Gavin was failed by the state, by no fault of DCFS. His guardians exploited loopholes that allowed him to dodge authorities. Why must we wait until children die until we call attention to abuse? The majority of other states allow for investigative warrants, and it is time Utah stepped up." Reporting from Utah State Capitol, Ariel Harrison, KUTV 2 News.